Splendid timing! You two are just in time for the fireworks show! Boom!
Wait! I hate that guy.
Ricardo Irving is one of the more eccentric characters that you'll be meeting in the game Resident Evil 5. An American black market bioweapons dealer, Irving is the reason for the BSAA's involvement in Kijuju in the first place, and by extension, the reason for Chris and Sheva's mission in Africa.
Destination coordinates?
Town square's up ahead. Go through there. Alpha team's waiting at the deal location.
Good.
What do you know about Ouroboros?
Mostly just rumors. Something about visions of a doomsday project.
Doomsday sounds about right, and apparently it is no rumor.
You're kidding, right?
You must find a man named Irving. He is our only lead.
Irving's backstory isn't really information that we have ever been privy to, however, there is one very interesting detail that can be discerned from the extensive research the BSAA has done for his profile. That information being that Irving was suspected to have been in Raccoon City near the time of its destruction in 1998. However, all evidence of what he could have been doing during his visit was unfortunately lost in the demolition of the city. Other than this detail, what Irving did before his time in Africa is somewhat of a mystery, with no real information about him before his involvement with the multi-industrial conglomerate Tricell.
Tricell? They helped fund the BSAA. What the hell are they doing here?
Irving has been involved in bioweapons black market deals since the mid-2000s, by which point he'd managed to become a senior partner in Tricell's illegal bioweapons research and had formed a working relationship with Tricell Africa's CEO, Ixela. Thanks to Irving's personality traits of being crude, arrogant, and above all, resourceful, Irving worked for the conglomerate as one of the main bioweapons dealers, his insatiable greed making him a perfect candidate to sell bioorganic weapons, or BOWs, to black market individuals so that Tricell Africa could, in turn, reinvest those profits into their own bioweapons research and development. However, these details were kept largely under wraps, so that organizations such as the BSAA would know nothing of Irving's true involvement with Tricell. Officially, Irving was employed as an overseer of an oil refinery owned by Tricell Africa Division's Resource Development Department. This position allowed for him to travel quite freely to meet with potential clients, offering him a viable excuse to travel should he be investigated. And, because of how Tricell is structured, allowed for his connections to the organization to seem more coincidental rather than damning. It was sometime in 2008 when Irving began using the politically unstable Kijuju region of West Africa as a testing ground for Tricell's latest bioweaponry. Using his station as the overseer of the local oil refinery, he approached a nearby tribe known as the Nidapaya tribe and warned them of an approaching disease that would be affecting the area. This disease was of course a fabrication, with Irving telling the tribe that the oil refinery would inoculate them in order to prevent them from getting the illness. This inoculation, of course, instead infecting the Nidapaya with a strand of the newly improved Plagas eggs, turning them into Magini. Irving continued his black market deals as per usual. But as violence in the Kijuju region began to flare up, the BSAA began to notice that something was amiss. Until on February 19, 2009, when Agent Renard Fisher photographed a meeting between Irving and several soldiers. These photographs confirmed their suspicions about Irving's involvement in recent bioterror attacks and gave them the evidence that they needed to pursue his capture. And, upon further investigation, the BSAA managed to dig up the date when his next deal would be happening, March 5th, 2009. Unfortunately for the BSAA, Irving caught wind that the organization was on his trail, and unbeknownst to the BSAA, Irving told the buyer that they would instead be meeting in the foreman's office of a local mine instead of the originally planned warehouse location. And on March 5th, a BSAA team led by Captain Dan DeChant followed the original lead to the warehouse, falling right into a trap set by Irving and his associates, with the team meeting their demise at the hands of an unknown BOW. However, not everything went according to Irving's plan, as Captain Dan DeChant managed to get his hands on some data which pointed the BSAA to the newly established location of the meeting.
Hey, who did this?
Something attacked us. Irving. He got away. It was a setup.
A setup? What is this?
It's data regarding the deal. I downloaded it from their computer. Oh, you gotta get it to HQ. Oh.
Hey, hang in there.
Realizing that the BSAA now had this information, Irving contacted the buyer and told them that the deal would have to be postponed. However, he still needed to go to the New Deal site and make sure that it was scrubbed clean of anything that could implicate him in his black market transactions. Rushing to the foreman's office, Irving scrambled to collect any necessary documents when a newly formed duo of Chris Redfield and Sheva Alomar managed to catch up to the bioweapons dealer.
Oh shit.
So you must be Irving.
Wow, perceptive, aren't ya?
You think this is a joke? You're just like all the other pieces of scum terrorists.
Oh, I'm not like them. I'm a businessman with standards.
Drop the weapon.
Or, how about you drop yours?
After a short standoff with the pair, Irving was saved by an unknown woman. However, he was pulled out of the office before managing to retrieve any of the implicating documents. Upon inspection of these documents, the agents were able to discern where he would probably be headed next, that location being the oil field at which Irving was an overseer. Following Irving's trail, the agents even got a sneak peek of what would have been up for sale that day, the Popo Karimu. The BSAA duo of Chris and Sheva held back by the bat-like BOW, Irving fled to a nearby port town to escape to the oil field in the marshlands. However, a new obstacle now stood in his way. The BSAA's Delta team had taken over for DeChant and were holed up in the port town. Frustrated and cornered, Irving was forced to release another prized BOW to deal with these forces, this time sending in the Ndesu to deal with them as he fled. His BOW forces swiftly depleting and his options quickly fading, Irving planned to escape with his acquired wealth. But the woman who had saved him in the foreman's office forced him to comply with one demand before he would be allowed to do so: kill his pursuers of Agent Redfield and Agent Alomar. To do this, the woman gave Irving a control-level plaga, an organism that would allow the black market dealer to swiftly become powerful enough to challenge the pair. But Irving knew that doing so would come with unwanted side effects. So, in a last-ditch effort to destroy all remaining evidence of his dealings and hopefully catch the pursuing duo in the explosion, Irving rigged the oil field with explosives, hoping that he wouldn't have to resort to the plaga. Unfortunately for Irving, however, his last-ditch effort was a failure. The duo managed to escape the explosion and continued on his tail, eventually catching up with his boat thanks to the help of Delta Team Captain Josh Stone. And so, with his world in ashes, his wealth and status taken, and his fate all but settled, Irving took the only option that he could see before him.
What are you going to do about them?
You're just one of Excella's playthings. It was your master who was supposed
One
to
more
take care
time. What are you going to do about
BSAA
them?
here. All right. I'll handle it.
Use it.
This. Won't you two just die already? You're making me look bad. Who do you think got this entire operation off the ground? Research like this doesn't fund itself, you know. Yet everyone looks down on me. But not anymore.
Don't do it!
I'm far beyond anything you could ever hope